Today I would like to demonstrate to you how to use the Smart Response system for reviewing and evaluating results. By the end of this section, you'll be able to find results details in your Teacher Tools gradebook. When we talk about Teacher Tools and using the Smart Response system, a lot of times we get this data, but then we don't know what to do with it. With the Teacher Tools gradebook, I will show you how to sort the information or evaluate it for performance. For example, when we give an assessment, I always want to know, how did my class do? Was the assessment successful? The questions we ask is, does my class know what it needs to know? This information would give us that. Which students were successful? Which need more instruction or a different type of instruction? That's what these results can tell us. Reviewing the gradebook. Today I'm going to show you how to sort the results in the gradebook. I'm going to display the properties, performance, and results area for a particular student. Display the properties, performance, and results and questions for a particular assessment. And I'm going to change the answer you'll accept as a correct response after the response have already been collected. Practicing. Earlier we talked about how to access our gradebooks from Teacher Tools. So today I'm going to show you what I want you to do is that we're going to use your clickers to answer the following questions. We're going to pull up a copy of, or open up a copy of Kara T's teacher sample gradebook file from your desktop. To do that, we click on response. We'll go down to the fourth. Oh, no. Today I would like to demonstrate to you how to evaluate and review results using the Smart Response tool and Teacher Gradebook. By the end of this section, you'll be able to find results in the Teacher Tools Gradebook. A lot of times we always, as teachers and educators, we ask ourselves the question, was this assessment successful? Does my class know what it needs to know? Using the Teacher Tools and the Smart Response system, we can look at the data to determine if that information is correct. Was this a good assessment? Then we can know which students were successful, who needs more remediation or more interventions, or who got it and needs to move on to some enrichment. We can get that information from our Teacher Gradebook as well as what we find in our responses. Today I'm going to show you how to sort your gradebook results. I'm going to show you how to display the properties, performance, and results areas for a particular student. I'm going to show you how to display the properties, performance, results, and question areas for a particular question or an assessment. I'm going to change the answers you'll accept as correct after assessment results have been recorded. What I would like for you to do now is to open your Kara T Teacher Tools sample from your desktop. This is one that we worked with earlier, but if you don't remember, we can go to our response. The fourth tab up from the bottom says Teacher Tools. We can click on Teacher Tools and we can bring that up. Now, here's what it looks like when you get to your Teacher Tools. Please remember, if you see a green light, for example, we say start a class and we know that it's starting. You cannot work with that class right now because it is in the middle of an assessment. We'll stop it. The green light goes away. For example, if you don't want to show the data to the whole class, you don't want everybody to see each other's scores, if we turn on the privacy, what happens in the student grade book, everything is blurred out, their ID number and their average. Their name stays highlighted, but the information is blurred out. But for this case, we want privacy open, so we will turn it on by clicking on the little eye at the top. Now, let's say for instance we wanted to sort the data. We wanted to know who had the highest class average. I can click on average and it would sort from lowest to high, or I can click it again and it'll sort from highest to low. If I wanted to calculate, look at it in alphabetical order, I can click on it, click on the last name, and it will sort by alphabetical order. And for each student, I can sort by assessment. If I click on my assessment tab, I want a class average, click on it, it'll sort it from highest to lowest, or lowest to high. If I just hit it again, it'll go from highest to lowest. If I wanted to even click on it by type, it'll do it in alphabetical order. Now what we're going to do is we're flipping back and forth between our notebook file and our gradebook. So we're going to click back to our notebook to answer the questions. So let's begin. First question. Use Ms. T's assessment results to investigate the answer. What was the most recent assessment completed by the Science 8A class? A, B, C, or D? Let's click back using our Windows taskbar. Click back on the assessment. Class 8A, most recent. Let's sort it by date. The most recent one will be March the 21st, which will be Plant Sciences. So we will see that March the 21st is the most recent, which is Plant Sciences. So the answer response would be C, a quiz about plants. Next question. Let's go to, we're going to click back on our grade book, but the question says, whose overall average is the highest in the science class 8B? Let's click back on using our Windows taskbar. Let's click back on the grade book for Ms. T. We're going to go to Science 8B, click on 8B, go to Assessments, and the question asks whose overall average was the highest. Look on Students for that class, click on Average for the highest, sorted by highest to low, and we will see that Kennedy A had a 75.8. That was the highest grade for that particular assessment. So our response would be B, A, Kennedy. Now, how many students responded correctly to the question 3 of Plant Studies quiz in the Science 8B class? Again, we click back on our grade book in our Windows tray. We go to 8B, go to Assessment, Plant Studies, click on Plant Studies. That brings up our property screen. In our property screen, we'll notice it gives us all the title, the subject, the topic, the performance. We can see how everybody performed, the students performed per question. We can see the results for a particular student, and we can see the question. And our question wanted to know, how did the class respond to question 3? We click on question 3. We see that 25 out of 31 students responded to B. That gave us our response. So we go back to our notebook file, and it says how many students responded correctly? 25 out of 31. Now we go to question 4. It says, what was indicated as the correct answer to question 7 in the scientific investigation exam? We're going back from using our Windows taskbar. Go back to the exam. We're going to look science investigation this time. We're going to go over to question. Click on question 7. And we see that the correct response was B. The correct response was B. And our question asked us, what was indicated as the correct answer to this question? How do we know that B was the correct response? We have this box here with the check mark in it to answer that that is the correct answer. That's how we know that it is the correct answer for that particular question. Going back to our grade book again. Now, let's say, for instance, we decided after some discussion with the class that we could have had another response to that question. So what we would do is we would see that for this particular question, our class average was 67.3. 67% was our class average. So what we would do is, let's say, for instance, we decided that C was a good answer. C was a good answer for that particular question. So we would go back and click C. And now our average moved to 67.3 because we had 3 students who argued vehemently that 63 could be a right answer as well. So we went back and gave them credit for that. And if you feel like, no, we don't want to do that, you can take it off. But you can always go back in and select another question that you believe would help with that, answer that question. When we look at a particular student and we want to see how they're performing, let's look at student. We can look at the student performance over a period of time. We can see how students perform over a period of time. We can see how a student performed on all of their quizzes. Again, we can sort it by date. We can sort it by average or type. Anytime you click on either one of them, you can sort. The performance over time shows how their grades have grown over from January through February with the different assessments. What I have shown you today and demonstrated to you today is how to create or how to look at results in your teacher grade book that will help you better analyze whether or not an assessment was successful. Thank you. Have a good day.